First Coast's most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, certified by Weather Rate, sponsored by AC Designs.
Hello, everyone. I'm meteorologist Lee Southwick, joined by meteorologist Robert Spetta. We are bringing you a tropical update. We're going to discuss the tropics, everything that's going on. As you can see, there's a lot happening. We do have that 8 a.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. And then also in a little bit, too, we're going to take Senator Rick Scott's press conference, his hurricane press conference that's happening right here in Jacksonville at the cruise port. But first, Robert, let's just start with the tropics. We have two areas of possible development and Tropical Storm Dexter out there.
Yeah, and it feels like it's really heating up, but the fact of the matter is it is August, and we're starting to get into that part of the hurricane season where we see more and more storms. In fact, 90% of all hurricanes that take place in the Atlantic take place after August 1st. So it is no surprise to start to see all this out here. At least at this time, nothing a direct threat to the First Coast, but maybe some indirect threats. Like Friday and the Saturday, we could be looking at some scattered showers, some thunderstorms over the Jacksonville area. But yeah, look at this. There's our future cast, our hour by hour. And this is the big issue, that stalled out boundary with this coastal low off our east coast. First, we had Dexter kick off towards the northeast, and now we have this secondary one. And if this sounds like deja vu, it is. And we've had the same type of setup a few times now, Lee, right?
We have. So this is just that same kind of setup that we've been dealing with, so you should know the drill by now. It's nothing to be too afraid of. It's just we're going to continue to have the heavy rain. We've had it for the past several days. It's continuing today, tomorrow, and then especially into Friday and Saturday. Whether a tropical depression forms this weekend or not, we will have that increased moisture and thus a heavy rain risk and a localized flooding risk. So Robert, with all the heavy rain that we've had, unfortunately, with more on the way, it means our grounds are already saturated, and therefore we do have that risk of heavy rain. So we do have weather impact alerts in effect for both of those days as well, for both Friday and Saturday, which I'm going to pull up here. So our weather impact alert in effect for the heavy rain, for the storms, but that localized flooding threat is really what we'll have to watch out for. We have that threat today and tomorrow. It's just higher on Friday and Saturday with this system. And also, of course, we have to think about everyone who's outside with the heavy rain moving in. Robert, we got a JAGS game coming up Saturday night that we all have to watch out for.
Already.
I know.
Hey, but here's the deal, though, and call me an optimist, but if it's raining and it's cloudy, that might actually be the best thing. Now, if there's lightning, that will be delayed, because typically these August games, it's like you're sitting in a furnace out there. So cloudy skies might be a good thing.
You're right.
Just
You're right.
Fingers crossed, no lightning.
No
with
lightning,
it,
no thunder, but bring on the cloud cover and the rain. You know, you're right. I could deal with a poncho out there.
I got a question for you here,
buckets.
Lee. Let's talk about the elephant in the room here. The social media, which has been showing a monster hurricane off of the East Coast. I have seen this on social media. Some National Weather Service offices have even had to address it.
Oh, no.
So let's talk about it real quick, because some long-range models, I don't even want to show it here because it's we can show something here. Is this one going to go out about 300 hours?
No, this is the one. This is just simply for, is there a tropical depression this weekend, and where does it go?
Because that's what we know right now. That's the near term. When you're looking at weather models 300 to 350 hours out, that's like 2 weeks out. Telling the future is hard enough with just several days, but to look at one operational model 2 weeks out, it's never going to hit. It's never going to be accurate. What it tells us is that the tropics are active, sure, but just be mindful of where you're getting your information. You're watching this stream right now with 2 qualified meteorologists. That's good, because sometimes the armchair meteorologist, which literally there was a post from somebody called the armchair meteorologist. At least they own it. Just showing a hurricane over Jacksonville, and I was like, come on now, guy.
Yeah.
Come on.
I was like, just don't forget, there are some people out there that make their living off of social media posts. So they're going to post the scariest thing in hopes that you share it and they make money. We work for a great company. We get paid to keep the chaos down and not have you afraid. So right now, what we know is that we have 2 areas that we are watching. Of course, this time of year, we will forever get hurricanes popping up on models 2 weeks out. So yes, what Robert's saying is don't fall for it. Don't fall into the trap. You're doing the right thing if you're watching us. Go to those reliable sources, us, the trusted media sources, and of course the National Weather Service offices, NOAA offices, and all of that. So let's talk about what we do know. An area could perhaps spin off of our coast. Do we get a tropical depression or not this weekend? This is the GFS model. You can see that it does close those isobars, and notice how it moves away from us. So as of the 8 a.m. advisory this morning, we were seeing that this moved up the East Coast. And you guys, the same thing with the European model, away from us, but it's never too early to prepare for if a storm threatens. Let's check in on that press conference here at the Jacksonville Cruise Port with Senator Rick Scott.
So he's still walking up right now, but this is on, of course, getting ready, or you should already be prepared for hurricane season, but staying prepared for hurricane season. You can see he's actually out there right in front of the Dames Point Bridge. This is the Carnival Terminal. The El Faro, of course, a very important monument, weather and hurricane and maritime related, actually right behind him to the left there. So, yeah, Senator Rick Scott coming in here in just a few moments to just talk about that. I can see the sheriff's there as well. There he is. Well, yeah, he's walking up right now. He is a veteran as well. That's why he's got the Navy hat on. But yeah, he's going to be chiming in here in just a second. But the whole point of this is to make sure you're staying not only weather aware, but prepared for tropical season, as we all know. It only takes one, right?
Right.
So having those preparations, and we have a lot of stuff on our website just talking about how those preparations are made and everything. Oops, looks like that went down there for a second.
Yes, and and now is the time to prepare, Robert. Like you're saying, while it is actually calm, I mean, I won't say it's calm. We've got stuff going on in the Atlantic, but we don't have a direct scary threat to us. So this is the time to actually make our hurricane kits and think about our evacuation plans and what we do with our pets and our neighbors. So like you said, our website has great information, Hurricane Central on our website, and now is the time to actually prepare and think about what you would do.
Yeah. So. Also, the other thing is insurance policies, because if we do have a hurricane out there, you can't get a new insurance policy. They just won't. They won't give it to you. They'll be like, "What are you trying to pull here?" So yeah, just keep that in mind as well. If you haven't updated your insurance
flood insurance is 30
policy.
days, I think.
What was that?
I think flood insurance is 30 days it takes to kick in too, so you can't get it right before.
Yeah, and flood insurance is different than your normal home insurance too.
Right.
It's all about wind damage versus water damage, so that's something to keep in mind, especially if you live in a flood-prone area. So what we got here, Lee?
All right, so this was still just, I'm trying to focus on that area right off our coast. That's what most people have eyes on right now. And just letting people know that whether a tropical depression forms or not, we have that heavy rain risk that increases our flood threat on Friday and Saturday, and an elevated rip current risk. I think this is the last weekend for a lot of kids before they go back to school. I think a lot of people will try to be getting out to the beach. So it's important to remember that we do have a higher rain and storm chance. So you do need to have shelter nearby, but also be careful if you're getting in the water with that elevated risk of rip currents is what I'm trying to say. Thunderstorms too, but rip currents.
It's been a long day. You got all of this here. All right, looks like he's walking up right now.
Once Jackson gives us the go-ahead, he's the boss of us. He'll let us know when to toss over. But in the meantime, our rain chances are elevated across the first coast, and so that means our rain coverage a bit higher here in the coming days, but you can see that'll be up the East Coast too. All right, let's listen in.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome you to JAX Port. First, I want to thank Senator Rick Scott for organizing this important discussion on hurricane preparedness and for your longstanding support. I'd also like to recognize Congressman Aaron Bean, who is here with us today.
All right, thank you, Eric. Thank you very much.
Senator Scott and Congressman Bean, we are grateful for your continued support of JAX Port and the jobs and supply chain security we provide for the region and state. We're honored today to be joined by our federal partners, the U.S. Coast Guard, CBP, state and local officials, and first responders. Thank you all for being here and for your partnership. As Florida's largest container port, JAX Port plays a critical role in the state's supply chain and in supporting the quality of life for our neighbors in Puerto Rico, our top trade partner. As we enter the height of hurricane season, we want the community to know JAX Port is ready. And with strong collaboration across this team, we're prepared to keep cargo moving, no matter what the season brings. With that, please welcome Senator Rick Scott. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Well, first, it's nice to be here. It's nice to be back in Jacksonville and at JAX Port. First, I want to thank Eric Green. So I've been in D.C. now for 6.5 years, and I had the opportunity to be your governor for 8 years. And I can tell you, every time I ever did anything with Eric, he did a great job. He comes to D.C., he represents the Jacksonville and JAX Port unbelievably. We know that in Jacksonville, and a lot of places, the ports are unbelievable job creators. When I was governor, I had the opportunity to invest your tax dollars. We invested $1.4 billion with the support of Aaron Beam, because Aaron was in the state legislature when I was governor, and we invested $1.4 billion in our ports, and they create not a lot of jobs and actually very good paying jobs. So a real key to our success in the state is the fact that we have 15 ports, and so many of them are growing very rapidly, like JAX Port is. So what we're here today to talk about is how do we make sure we continue to focus on hurricane preparedness. We're in the middle of hurricane season. August is generally the first month where we start seeing hurricanes. If you remember, oh gosh, now how many years ago? 1992, we had, I think it was Hurricane Andrew. I was in the hospital business at the time. Karen Bowling actually was working with me at that point. We had a horrible hurricane down in Miami. But just in the last few years, we had Ian 3 years ago. We had Milton and Helene last year. So we've got to get ready. What does that mean? What that means is every family's got to get a plan. The first, it starts with you as an individual. There's going to be we have great sheriff's department, we have great police department, the sheriff is here, we have great fire departments, but they can't take care of you if you act foolishly. In the middle of the storm, you say, oh gosh, it's really bad now, I want to get out of here. It's too late. They're not going to be able to come and get you. So what you got to do is you got to get a plan, get an evacuation plan, make sure you have every tool you need, 7 days of water, 7 days of food, radio, all the things you need. You can go, the sheriff's got a website, I'm sure the city has a website. Federally, there's a website called ready.gov that will tell you how to get ready, give you a good checklist of what you ought to do. But get ready, don't take a chance. At the last minute, if you go at the last minute, the hardware stores, everything's going to be sold. The grocery stores, everything's going to be sold. So you cannot wait. So if everybody takes these storms seriously, what's happened the last few years is the storms have been water events, not wind events. So when they say it's a hurricane wind, Hurricane 1, the wind might be too bad. You might be able to say, I'm fine with that. But it says 9 foot of storm surge right at your house, you're going to die. you're not going to survive 9 foot of storm surge. So you've got to start looking at look at these things and listen to your local weather. So I hope everybody takes this seriously. At the federal level, Aaron Bean and I have done a variety of things. I know Dean Black at the state. They've done a variety of things to try to prepare. We got Aaron and I were able to get a bill passed to give people tax reductions for any excess expenditures over their insurance. We've done a variety of things to try to give tax deductions as your property insurance have gone up. So we're going to do everything we can at the federal level to try to get people ready. But it's going to take you being prepared. There's a lot of people that are going to help you and do everything they can, but you have got to be prepared. You've got a great government here in D.C. Your mayor cares, your city council cares, your sheriff cares. Everybody here cares, but you got to take care of yourself. So with that, one thing I have the opportunity to do is I get to work with Coast Guard all across the country. I have a full-time Coast Guard employee in my office all the time. I'm on my 4th, and they're outstanding individuals, and they're here to protect your safety. So now we're going to hear from Captain Jason Alexak.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On Monday this week, we celebrated the Coast Guard's 235th birthday, and we know that these 235 years, the American people have depended on us, the U.S. Coast Guard, to be ready to complete our missions and to assure our economic prosperity and national security. This includes controlling U.S. borders and maritime approaches, protecting America's ports and waterways, and saving lives and leading in national emergencies to include preparing for and responding to hurricanes. As we approach the peak of hurricane season, the men and women of Coast Guard Sector Jacksonville are actively monitoring all potential tropical weather threats and taking necessary precautions to ensure the readiness of our personnel and assets. I urge the public and the maritime communities to stay informed, heed all warnings from local authorities, and take proactive steps to prepare for potential impacts well in advance of an approaching storm. We do work closely with our federal, state, and local partners to provide timely assistance to mariners on the water. Our dedicated men and women stand ready to respond and safeguard our waterways and our coastal communities. There are 2 things that I ask of the boating public. First, preparation is key. It is essential that mariners and the public take proper measures to prepare for a hurricane well before it arrives. Ensure that you have proper equipment. You have a hurricane mooring plan, a safe place to store your trailered boat, and monitor the weather and Channel 16 prior to a voyage and while out on the water. Second, safety is paramount. Hurricanes and tropical storms can be deadly, and the Coast Guard's ability to conduct rescues can be diminished or unavailable at the height of a storm. Be prepared, stay informed, and follow all storm warnings. I do want to reassure everyone that the crew of Sector Jacksonville is ready. Our personnel are highly trained, and if needed, our assets will be positioned to respond to search and rescue needs, assess damage to the ports and waterways, and facilitate movement of essential commerce. More information can be found at Coast Guard Sector Jacksonville's website, our social media platforms. Thank you, and Semper Paratus. And at this point, I'd like to introduce Congressman Aaron Bean.
Thank you very much, Captain Jason. A very good afternoon, or good morning, Northeast Florida. Thank you, JAX Port, for the hospitality and letting us come out today. Eric Green's whispering in my ear. Bean, we got some of the best in the business, 182 employees, another 108 contract. JAX Port team, thank you for making, this is the economic engine of Jacksonville. Anybody that's moving Jacksonville says, tell us about your port, and it's a great story to tell of JAX Port. Governor Scott, look at me going to Governor Scott. Senator Scott, it's always a treat to stand with you. Your leadership knows no boundaries. You could easily be anywhere. You've chosen to be here to once again remind Floridians that there's a storm approaching. How about that? Yes, sometime, whenever it is, it's coming. We don't know exactly when, but we know it's on the way. If you were a Floridian in 2011 through 2018, you remember Rick Scott. You remember then Governor Scott would prepare us and then lead us through these storms and it was always a treat to see him in that Navy cap. He hasn't lost it. So Governor Scott, Rick Scott, thank you for reminding everybody to have a plan. Now, back in our day, we not only had to walk to school uphill both ways in snow to school. You don't believe that, but this is true. We had a very limited window for tax-free purchases of preparing for storms. Today, thanks to our legislature and Dean Black and others, now you've got no excuse. It's now year-round to prepare, to have that kit somewhere in your garage or bonus room that hopefully you'll never need. Should it come to it, though, have a plan to leave. If you ask anyone who's ever been through a storm, they're going to tell you, never again. I'll never do that again, because the wonderful first responders that I'm about to introduce can no longer come to you during that storm. You'll be on your own. Don't be on your own. Go visit your in-laws. Go visit friends somewhere. Have a plan already, knowing where you're going to go. I mentioned first responders. I want to thank them in advance. I know Senator Scott, I'm Governor Scott, he answers to either one. Also visits the emergency operations centers when they're called to action. As your congressman, as a state senator, I always was torn when they were in action. Do I go? Do I not go? I don't want to get in their way. I would always bring goodies and candy, and I really just wanted to say thank you. They have a mission, they're professionals, and to see them in action truly is a treat. So many of the members of the public don't get to see our emergency operations centers, professionals staying overnight, staying just to keep Northeast Florida safe. Thank you in advance. And it's now my pleasure to begin to introduce a gentleman who helped make that tax-free preparation year-round, a great friend, a great leader for Jacksonville and Northeast Florida. Please welcome Representative Dean Black.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you, Congressman. Well, it's a lovely day in Florida, and here we are all gathered as a team. We have members of your federal government, from the Senate, from the House of Representatives, and we have members of our city government. City Councilman Mike Gay is with us today. And we have members of the press, and we're all part of a team, and you're part of that team too. We get storms on a regular basis, and yet we're good at dealing with it. We're good at dealing with it because we all cooperate. We all know each other, we all work together, and our citizens are part of that team too. Because a lot of them have been through this before, and because of all of us working together with our first responders, our organs of government, and a qualified media making sure we get the word out in a timely fashion, we're able to deal successfully with each hurricane season we've had before, and we're going to deal with this one successfully too. Citizens, government, media, all of us working together. And the congressman is right. We've now made it so that you have no excuse. It's tax-free to get your hurricane kit ready. Get it ready. Let's all get ready to work together, and let's get through this hurricane season safely as one cooperative community. We're all neighbors. God bless you all.
So one thing you find out pretty quickly about our state, the reason why people want to move to our state, they think it's about the beaches or the weather, things like that. It's actually about our law enforcement. People want to move. They want to move themselves. They want to live in safe communities. They want to move their businesses and be in safe places because we have great sheriffs all across the state. You have a great sheriff here, right here, Sheriff T.K. Waters.
So first of all, let me thank Senator Scott, Congressman Bean, Councilman Gay, Representative Black, and all of our partners. Thank you to our local, state, and federal officials and partners for their leadership on this great issue of community concern. Perhaps at no other time do we become more aware that we're all one Jacksonville than when our city is facing a shared natural disaster. Safety of Jacksonville citizens is a primary concern of JSO and all agencies and organizations represented here today. JSO has a long history of working collaboratively with these agencies and organizations to ensure Jacksonville citizens remain safe and informed during hurricane season. Jacksonville's emergency preparedness unit stays ready 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to respond to any emergency situation, including storms, to protect Duval County citizens. Likewise, JSO stays ready, willing, and able to deploy our assets to other jurisdictions to assist with storm preparation and response, as we have done many times in the past, to support other storm-prone areas. Hurricane preparedness is a responsibility of us in Florida, in our city. Encourage all Duval County residents to get ready for hurricane season now, before we start tracking a storm. Go to jaxready.com, download the JAX Ready app, review the JAX Ready dashboard, register for Alert JAX notifications, familiarize yourself with your evacuation zones, and register for special needs assistance if needed. And be ready now and stay ready in the future so you don't have to get ready when a storm is already on the horizon. Preparedness prevents catastrophe. The public can rest assured that in the event of a storm, JSO will continue to maintain law and order and will not, under any circumstance, tolerate those who take advantage of the circumstances and commit crimes during storm situations in our city. So thank you very much. And right now, I'd like to introduce my friend, Chief Percy Golden.
Good morning, everyone. As we stand here today at JAX Port, it's a reminder how interconnected our city truly is. The port plays a vital role not only in Jacksonville's economy, but as a community lifeline. During hurricane season, that connection becomes even more important. JFRD is proud to work hand in hand with JAX Port year-round to prepare for emergencies and ensure the safety of the port, its workers, and our city. I want to take a moment to thank Mayor Deegans for her continued leadership and support of public safety in Jacksonville. Her commitment allows JFRD to have access to resources, training, and partnerships necessary to protect the community when it matters most. I also want to acknowledge and thank the previous speakers here today and the robust partnerships they represent. Collaboration between our federal, state, and local leaders is essential to keeping Jacksonville prepared. Hurricane season is well underway, and my message is simple. JFRD is ready. Our personnel have been training, reviewing plans, and strengthening relationships with essential partners. Our Emergency Preparedness Division has helped guide this process to ensure we are ready to respond to any storm, from initial response to even recovery. Preparedness is not only about making sure our firefighters and first responders are ready, but also about making sure every household, business, and organization has a plan. At this time, I would like to introduce our Chief of Emergency Preparedness, Andre Ayub, who will share more about how you can stay safe and be JAX ready this hurricane season. Chief?
Thank you, Chief. So good morning. They made me go last, so all my talking points are taken, so I will be brief. So as we move into the peak of hurricane season, I want to remind everyone, don't be complacent. It only takes one storm to cause significant impacts to our community. We've been preparing all year, and we have 4 easy steps for you to remember. First, get a kit with enough food, water, medication, other essentials to last your household at least 7 days. Second, have a plan where you'll go and how you'll communicate with your loved ones. Third, know your zone so you are ready if an evacuation order is given. And fourth, stay informed with reliable sources with updates before, during, and after the storm. Our JAX Ready mobile app has comprehensive information about all of these steps. We encourage every resident to download it today, and it's free. When it's free, it's nice. So please download it if you don't have it. Now's the time to act. Preparedness truly saves lives. Thank you.
All right, let me just finish. I want to thank Eric Green and everybody at JAX Port for hosting us today. You've got a great team of people here in Jacksonville that want to take care of you. But the point today is you got to take care of yourself first. So I hope everybody takes this seriously. You can go on the federal or local websites, but actually get a plan and be prepared. So thanks everybody for being here. Cameron, are we going to do the gaggle from here? Okay. All right, let's all get together for a photo.